We'll find out in the caves. We're going to be switching swords a lot in these caves. And yeah, we can fight all the monsters in here. So the boss needs level 7, but the monsters should only need level 6. And there's an okay grinding spot towards the end. Actually, how much are these guys worth? 15? That's not great. No difficulties at all pushing these guys off screen. The Sword of Fire does all the work for you here. But we want to try to not overshoot the screen because, oh, there's a red bat. We got him. He's fine. I do like how whenever you kill a monster, they break down in like little crumbly bits that are kind of color-coded by the sword that you used. It's especially funny with the next sword we get, the Sword of Water, because it looks like all the enemies, when they die, crumble in a pile of ice cubes. Alright, I think this is the correct way. I don't have a shield equipped, so projectile attacks are going to be very, very powerful if they connect. They're going to do a lot of damage. Your armor is only good for melee hits. Any projectiles, you need a shield equipped, which I don't have. And the next boss is very, very projectile heavy. But we should be able to kill him very quickly enough to where he's not going to damage us too much. We're getting like 40 experience for each of these golems. It's just, they take a long time to kill. Yeah, you see right there? How that guy fired twice in a row? It's very dangerous. You gotta watch out, man. Crystalis, these monsters get tricksy. And I have an issue with games like this that I play in an emulator window that I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to describe, but see if you can follow along with me here, because I have to have a bunch of different software to record the gameplay so I can later edit it and put it on YouTube. So the software that I'm recording has a preview window. The software I use is called OBS, and it has a preview window, so the preview window is just my game screen, because it's just recording what's going on in the actual emulator. Do I want to hop up here? I think I do. So okay, I've got the game window is at a proper resolution, the standard resolution for my NES emulator, and then behind it I've got my OBS window, which is it's the same resolution recording, but it's a little bit, the window itself is bigger, so my NES emulator window does not quite cover up the entire preview window in OBS. So what happens is I've got about a half an inch, maybe one game tile, on the left and right side of my NES window that's showing through OBS. So often when I've got monsters at the very right or left edge of the screen, as these guys are now, I'll see them both in my game window, where they're relevant, and in my preview window where they're not, and I'll think there are monsters there when there aren't any. I don't know if that description made any sense. This is one of the many, many things that I have to struggle with making YouTube videos. That just makes my life hard. One of the... Oh, yeah, these guys. We have to sort on these guys, and we're going to go up to 1200 on them, because we do need to be 7 before we're allowed to fight the next boss. If you're not the proper level, you just don't deal any damage. You just get a sound, like the immune sound effect. I think you literally do deal, like, 1 point of damage, like a fraction of damage. But if we take a look, like, my attack power here is 7 with the Sword of Wind. So if you're the improper level, I'd have to hit the boss 7 times to deal 1 hit's worth of damage. Which is not practical. Like, stretching these boss fights out by 7 times just isn't... And I don't even know if that's true. I don't even know, like, the bosses... I only say this because the randomizer suggests that there's a logical option you can turn on, whether or not the game logic proceeds to each of the 4 general boss fights before you have the proper sword. And if you turn that off, it says you've got to use Tink strats, which I presume to mean you have to hit the boss with a sword that just tinks off of them and does no damage. That might be something they added just for the randomizer, that instead of dealing 0 damage, these swords deal 1. I don't know. I actually do not know the answer to that, or most any questions. So if we go in here... one of these passages will take us to the boss, and the other one will... you know, I don't remember. Treasure, maybe? Let's find out. I actually don't know. This is where all the people of Leaf are being kept. All the shopkeepers are here. Ah, the key to the prison, which we are going to need that, so... the more important thing we get in this room is a checkpoint. So if the boss kills us, we'll start, like, out in this hallway here. This is the path to the boss here. In fact, I'm going to avail myself of this checkpoint right now. This is the guy that yelled at us when we first came out of the cave. That should be the checkpoint right there. Are there enemies here? There are. We'll kill the guys in here and then run back and get that checkpoint after, what is it, like 300, not even 300, about 220 more experience. These guys are worth a lot, but they also take a long time to kill. Unfortunately, they're completely immune to the Sword of Fire. Which is unfair. I'm not immune to their swords at all. That's why I'm using bullets against these fools and not mashing, not just slashing the sword. The good old choppy times, because their swords have the same reach mine do. So the typical advantage you would have over them is lost, because they can reach you from inside your effective range, and it's your effective range that you typically use to melee monsters down. If you line up properly, like if you're on their right side, like I am, like I probably maxed this guy pretty safely, because, nope, never mind, I lied, and I'm a liar, and I apologize for having lied. Shouldn't have done that. I was going to demonstrate that if you're very careful and you get exactly the right pixel, maybe you can mash safely. But now I am nowhere near sure that's the case. Okay, let's just go ahead and grab this checkpoint back here. I think we just have to go out this door and then back in, and that counts as a checkpoint. Let's go ahead and refresh all the way to max. We don't have to fight these guys on the outside here anymore. No, I won't. Let's just jump past him. He blindsided me. I jumped over that guy's sword, though, so I feel pretty good about that. Alright, it's time to fight the first major boss of the game. We're going to go ahead and refresh up. And just go in here and choppy him. And hopefully we can hold down the heal button and kill him before he kills us. And magic power is too low. We got him. Beautiful. And there's our flame bracelet. So now we have level 3 fire attacks. More importantly, we can open up the prison, and inside is the man who gave us our Sword of Wind. And everything is nice now. And I think we've got to go to level 8 in the wilderness out here. But there's a bunch of stuff we can do while we're working on that. Just for exiting the cave, Zebu's going to teach us Paralysis spell. Each of the wise men have 2 spells. We have 2 down from Zebu and 2 from Tornell. And here's our next town. I think I am going to buy this platinum armor. Obviously, we can't afford it yet, but I think we are going to upgrade to that before much longer. So in Portoa here, there's like a little tricksy bit where you can go up here and talk to the queen, and the queen just talks some stuff to you. But now when you try to go talk to the queen again, the guy's in the way. He says the queen's not here. But the queen's not there. Who is here is this fortune teller, who tells you to go see the queen. And now if we go back to the fortune teller, now she's not there. And there's this big puzzle back and forth. Like, how do you... Like, what's the deal with the fortune teller and the queen? And the deal is, here's what we're going to do. So we're going to go in here. The guy's not blocking us now because we talked to the fortune teller. The queen's going to talk to us. And before this guy has a chance to step in front of the door, we're going to paralyze him. And now that the queen's gone, we can go in her room and check out this cave behind her room. And just stepping in there is our next plot flag. Lots of plot flags to worry about. Of course, that guy's going to bar our passage, even though we're leaving and not entering. The fortune teller will once again be useful to us. She says the path will definitely be open, and now that she said that, the queen will have something more interesting to say. She's going to talk about a cave behind the waterfall and give us a flute to play. And this is where we're going to drop our next save, right about here. I think maybe at level 7 we can fight some of the monsters in the next cave, but not with this sword. I mean, we'll fight what we can where we can, but it's actually really dangerous to fight in the wilderness out here because you got flying monsters everywhere. Can we fight anything in here? Oh, we can fight these things. But I think everything else is off limits till we gain another level. Or get another sword. So we're looking for 16 hundo on experience. We do want to go up this way. Break through this wall. There is stuff in here weak to the Sword of Fire, but we're too low level to hit them yet. Then you have this room here, and this is why we couldn't come into the Waterfall Cave right away, because there's petrified people here. But you can kind of get stuck in these people if you jump in a particular way. I forget how to do it exactly. But you'll see that their hitbox always pushes you away from them. Like this. I'm trying to jump into them, but they push me away. There's a way to get turned around, so they push you backwards. So you can skip the whole queen situation. If you're a dirty cheater, which I'm not. We're going to use the Flute of Lime, and now we can get through. Okay, let's see if we can actually fight the Medusas in here. I don't think we can. No, we cannot. So we want to go up this way first. We have to avoid them for now, but we'll fight some on our way out, I believe. If we don't die before then. She's kind of getting in my way. We have Warp Boots, so I can use up all my magic on healing. Typically, I won't have Warp Boots at this point. I haven't used any Warp Boots yet. Here is the guy who we gave the statue to. He also got turned to stone. But if we go up around the corner here, there's a second Flute of Lime just chilling in the Medusa cave. I presume these monsters are Medusas. You know what I mean? I presume that because they're petrifying people. They kind of look like snake women. So now I have a shield ring. I'm actually curious because right now my shield defense is, it says 7. 13 would be my armor. 7 is my shield. That's my protection against projectiles, I believe. I'm not going to use the shield ring, so I got to give up the bunny boots. But yeah, it just doubles my shield defense. So I have more shield defense than regular defense if I choose to wear that, which I don't. Let's continue working our way around here. So I want to go the other side of the Medusa cave over here. This is the first cave that kind of scrolls in multiple directions, actually. Instead of being made up of narrow hallways, some of it's made up of this big fat hallway that can scroll all over the place. I do want to be charged. I think there's an ice wall at the end here. Is there not? There is, in fact. And I missed it! Let's not get shot. Let's go. Okay, we're good. We're good. It's all good. I guess I could just push them away from me with the sword for now. Jump past her, and we should be shortly getting our revenge on these terrible Medusa ladies, because we now have the third sword, the Sword of Water. And now I think we can damage them. Indeed we can. We gotta be careful because they do have projectiles that do that. That turn us to stone. And is there anything I can even do about that? Okay, it ends after a few seconds. So you can buy a Fruit of Lime, I think it's called, to heal petrification if you get petrified. But you can't use the fruit on other people. You have to use the flute on other people. Because R's and L's are difficult. I think we only need to go level 8 on these things. And you can tell when they're going to fire because they kind of stop for a second. You cannot move and charge your sword at the same time, though. So enemies like this, you have to pay attention to both the level of your charge, so you know when you can fire again, and their own movement patterns. To make sure that you don't get shot. Woo! Woo! Get me out of there! I got stuck on the wall. I think she's just gone forever now. I guess it's kind of safe to just choppy these Medusas. It's probably safer to actually use Paralyze on them and then choppy them, but I'm almost out of magic points. And it would be very nice to preserve these warp boots that I have. So just back and forth, fighting the Medusas. We need to grind to 8 here, then we need to grind to 10 in the next location, and then 11 in the location after that. And then 11 is our next boss fight. Our next major boss fight. Actually, there's no minor bosses. There is one minor boss. I think we can fight the minor boss at 10. And then the next of the Imperial Generals at 11. We get a much, much better grind spot once we hit level 8, though. And I'm like 70 to 80% sure it's not available at level 7, unfortunately. I'm glad the enemies in this game don't have any AI to speak of. Like, they don't actually try to hunt you down. They just kind of move randomly, and then sometimes they stop the fire. Is about their lot. Some of the flying monsters do try to collide with you, but again, they have this wide, swooping arc that kind of maintains a circle around you. And I think that's it. I don't think any other monster really considers your location much when they decide where to move or how to attack. Shoutouts to Montezuma Mike for sponsoring this video. If you liked the video and want to see more, please tickle my thumb, leave a friendly comment, and then ring my little bell.